Greetings, Goddess Body Mind Spirit community. This is your Goddess Guru, Tyra Omilade, here to share a word of inspiration with you on your path to self realization and self mastery. Today is November the 18th, 2019. Where has the time gone? Because I'm living astrologically so much, it's like, hmm. It's just one big long day. Seems like year after year. It's just, Anywho, I hope that all is well with you in your world. I wanted to get on and first and foremost, thank you to everyone who is here. Welcome to all the new subscribers. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate everyone who watches from week to week. Special shout out to everyone who is in my inner circle. Love you all and just love the connection. So, I wanted to talk about, first and foremost, this week in the weekly reading that I do within my inner circle, I talked about one of the energies governing us is Orsair. Actually, it came in Orsair negative. And so a negative reading is not negative like we think, oh, that's negative. It means there's blockages. And so as I was explaining it, like I've had to listen to that video a couple of times to see, did I sound like a crazy lady? Did I sound like I made sense? And I explained it well. But I wanted to add a little bit more in there because one of the things that I said is when Orsair speaks, it's about knowing. Um, it's one thing for us to talk about all of the spiritual, these spiritual principles and to understand the great divine, whatever name you want to call it, in a particular way. Let's say we're talking Orisha. It's one thing to talk about an Orisha. It's another thing to know that Orisha, and you can speak from experience. And I know, in Ifa world, people get a bad rap if they're like, well, I haven't like gone through any formal anything with Ifa, but Yemonja is initiating me. That's something I've seen. They'll say one of the Orishas initiating me. And a lot of times people in Ifa are like, no, if you ain't in Ifa, you can't work with Yemonja, you ain't working with Yemonja, whatever. But we know that Yemonja is a universal principle. You do not have to be initiated. You don't even have to believe in Yemonja to experience the glory and wonder that is Yemonja or whatever Orisha we're talking about in that moment, right? But anytime someone, say for instance, experiences unconditional love that is so nurturing, it can come in so many different forms, then you can speak about Yemonja. If I have experienced that and then somebody explains Yemonja to me, then I'll say, yeah, I get that. I know that from experience, right? And so this is what Orsair says that we need to know from experience. And so I was listening to one of my Audible books by Michael Beckwith. Actually, this is a program. It's something about stepping into abundance. It's not one of his actual books. Whew. I'll just look it up. That way, if anyone is interested. Practices for living from the overflow. Living from the overflow. True abundance. Michael Beckwith. So I was listening to that and it was like he knew I needed to. I just turned it on at the spot where I left off. So he didn't know anything, right? But it was as if he knew I needed to hear what he had to say about this experiencing the great divine consciousness, experiencing, these higher divine principles from a place of experience. And so what we have to do, this is what he was talking about, is we have to engage our spiritual practices. And I can tell you that spiritual practices are everything right now. Part of the reason I needed to hear from Dr. Beckwith this morning is because this, it's several things in my chart, but definitely this scorpionic energy that we have going on is conjuring up so much of my stuff. And that was one of the things that I explained in the weekly video, that so often we think that we have made progress, and we have made progress, but we are unaware. So often we are unaware of just how much stuff that's wrong, that's a lie, is in our programming, is the very fiber by which we are operating. It's the fiber of our ego, the fiber of how we operate day to day, the fiber of our beliefs, and we don't realize it. We have no idea. This is why the spiritual practice is so important. But then when we have spiritual practices in place, when we're going through these rough times, so for instance, for me, like yesterday, I pretty much just felt like crap emotionally. That's actually like one of the biggest things for me, is that's one of my demons, is how do I work to not feel um like horrible, like crap. Self-esteem, self-worth, self-value. So yeah, I was feeling that way yesterday, and it came to me that, and those of you, I wanted to tell you all this, those of you who were raised up in the Christian tradition, I don't know what it's like to be raised up in the other traditions, but in the Christian tradition, one of the things that's foundational is that we are so flawed. Like, you come here flawed just because of Eve, right? And that does something to you, especially if you're a feminine being. You already messed up because Eve, you know, caused the fall of man. It may not even be exactly true, but that's how it's sold onto us. It gets all wrapped up in us. And I remember when I was close to ending my initiation into the Sacred Feminine Mysteries, that was one of the things that popped up. I was like, oh, I didn't even realize it was there until that day. Some kind of way it came through my consciousness that, you feel messed up and flawed. You carrying the guilt of Eve. It's like, what? Putting that down. And that's why all of this comes up. And so yesterday, the other thing that I was having to fight was finding ways to push it back down, because that's one of the things we do. It's very painful to confront things that are, that make us feel horrible. And sometimes we don't even know what it is. We feel it and it's like, oh, no, 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 no. I cannot do this. But when we have our spiritual practices, they can help us to be aware of when we are in the midst of an emotional release time, or releasing trauma, releasing whatever it is that we don't need. And look at where we are right now. We're in the waning moon period, and we're in Scorpio. We're in Mercury retrograde. And so, if I wasn't aware, I might go out and, instead of saying, you know what, this is the time for all of this to come up. Okay. With it, I'm on schedule. I'm going to work with this particular schedule. I might would, go out and then, well, do what I've done in the past before I really started getting myself in alignment with cycles. I would go out and do whatever I could to try to suppress it. So that was the other thing that he talked about. And I was like, this is so good. How not only do we need the spiritual practices, because a lot of us want to do the spiritual practices so that we can have this great spiritual experience. We can do that. But I can tell you right here, right now, our stuff will be sitting here waiting for us to come up off our high. Because then, you got to go find another high to get on to try to avoid this. Well, this is not the time to do it. Because another thing that ends up happening, and I was listening to a lady, I'm going to start getting us more into candle rituals. Those who are in my inner circle know I do candle rituals for every day. And so I was watching this one lady, Angelique, on Astrolata doing a candle ritual. And I typically don't even watch these kinds of videos or whatever for long, but I was like really feeling, I don't know, I've been feeling bad. So much so, the other issue for me is my emotions manifest in my stomach. And for years, I'll think, oh, I'm going to eat something to try to settle my stomach. Well, I've just accepted. Nothing's going to settle my stomach except for confronting whatever is emotionally has me off balance, right? So that's what made me stick and stay with watching this candle video. And it's a releasing ritual, candle releasing. I was like, wow, I'm going to do this ritual. If you want to see it yourself, just go to Astrolata and look for, I think the name of it has something about candle releasing with Angelique. It looks like angelic, but she pronounces it Angelique or Angelique, something like that. Anywho, she talked about how as we do these releasing rituals, it's opening up more. It's opening us up to receive more of what we actually do want, right? So I just encourage everybody to continue to work with the Scorpionic energy. Mars is moving into Scorpio tomorrow, the 19th. And that's going to help us face this healing work that we need to do even more. And then Mercury moves direct. So Mercury has been just like grabbing up stuff, it's like peeling things back so that we can actually see it and feel it and sense it. And a lot of it is stuff that's traumatic and has to do with our wounds. And it all depends on, what house it's in. But yeah. And then it's going to start moving forward, which means that we can actually begin to either just say, I'm going to face it, or implement some type of healing practices, put some healing work in there. And the sun is moving still until the end of the week. I think it's Friday. It'll move into Sagittarius. So while the sun is there, it's burning through some stuff too. And all of this is being drug up for us to actually do something with. This is why I was Orsair negative, like really facing our stuff, facing what is covering us experiencing our divine nature, because that's what Orsair is. It's our divine nature. If we will go on ahead and do this work, then it will be so much easier for us to receive the blessings of Venus meeting with Jupiter. And they're meeting at the Cosmic Center. I think it's what it's called. It's something else. I may be using the wrong word, but it's this point of connecting with like pure potentiality, basically. And so this is a very blessed time. This is a very blessed time that we will start feeling that closer to the end of the week. So where your stuff is up, face it. Even if you can't just, because some of us got some deep stuff. Even if you can't just heal it today, at least agree, I know you're there. And I am setting up a plan to release you. And I told them in the video, even if, let's say, It's 100% there. And over the next month to 6 months, you heal it up 10%. 10 is now 90% wound, 10% healed. That's a freaking win, because some of it goes so deep. People are really wounded and hurt by a lot. And then we experience all this emotion and it sets it in us even more. Just know, the more you walk around engaging the hurt, the pain, and some of us don't know we're doing it, but if you just recognize, wow, the emotion that I'm feeling, it is negative and it's related to my victimhood, it's related to the wound, it's related to whatever, negativity, whatever. Just know, when we experience emotion, it's a trance state and it sets it in us even more. Right? So if all we do is just say, you know what, every time I start feeling this wound, and some of us have relationships with our wounds. So when I feel it and I feel like I'm just a little bit too friendly with it, a little bit too comfortable with it, it's just a little bit too much of my story, I'm just going to say, no, not today. Some people may go out and go get therapists, go on some healing work, get some healing work, whatever, just as long as we begin to make a change with how we engage with our wounds, that little bit will free us up to receive these gifts that will be coming to us through, even if all we think about is Venus with Jupiter at the galactic center. That's the name of it, the galactic center, over the next week. Oh my God, that is going to be such a win for us. Okay. So I'm asking you all, please engage the pain. Say, you know what? I'm facing you. This is why the sun is there. Mars will be there. Herakahuti Ogun. We can say, you know what? Let's do this. Come on. As my kids say from Taekwondo, pad up, pad up. We get ready to do this. By next week, even just a little progress is going to open us up to a great, significant blessing. Now, I believe the blessing is going to rain down on us, whether we do this work or not. The question is, are you going to receive it? Right? Are you making room for your gift? If someone told you, look, I have 100% all new furniture for you. Only thing I'm asking you to do is get rid of, let's just talk about one room. Get rid of all the furniture in your living room. We're replacing every piece. And they come and we only got rid of one piece. They're going to be like, we're just going to bring in one piece. That's all we're going to bring in. We're just going to replace the one with the one. We told you if you wanted all this new furniture, you need to get rid of all this old stuff, right? What you do, you just got rid of one piece, right? So please open yourself up to receive the gifts that will be coming to us from Oshun. And I see Tahuti as the same as, well, in the Metu Neter, it's definitely Ma'at. Jupiter. I see Jupiter. Well, it's not I see. Jupiter is the same as Ma'at and Tahuti. Let's just talk about it from there. We have Oshun, who is the fortune minor, which I still say Oshun is a fortune major, but whatever, they can call her the fortune minor. They call her the fortune minor because, and when I say they, I'm talking like if we're using other systems, I'm not saying people in E5 describe her this way, right? Let's just be clear, because I know folks like getting on here correcting people like me, but just try it on for size. What I'm giving you, because I tell y'all what I use that works. I'm not telling y'all made up stuff. I only teach what I know, right? So Oshun is easy. She's like, hey, let's be in harmony. Let's sit around. Let's talk. Let's agree. I'm not going to sit up here and fight with you. Don't expect Oshun to fight. Now, if we know Oshuns, they're not afraid of a good fight. But typically this pure Oshun energy is like, Nah, boo, I don't fight. I love. But I will bless you if you're willing to be harmonious and agreeable, and negotiate some stuff. And then we have Ma'at, which is Jupiter, which is the fortune major. And so she's considered to be expansive, hot, fiery, expansive energy. And she overcomes things through using wisdom by totally tapping into the divine laws of the universe. But she's considered to be hot and fiery energy, big, expansive energy, right? So we have, if we're just talking about it like that, we have Het Haru Oshun coming with Ma'at together. Cha-ching, cha-ching. And if it's not cha-ching as in money, it's just some type of gift. You know, for some it may be emotional, some it might be physical, some it may be mental, some it may be material. I'm hoping it's going to be material for us in some kind of way. I hope you get something that you really, really desired and it makes you happy. I hope you get that with this energy, okay? I will say that for the month of December, I have already done the readings in advance for the inner circle. So I hope that y'all join the inner circle. It's the ones where you get the readings, the weekly readings, the $20 membership. And I plan on sharing just like this big bounty that will be coming to us week by week for December. So, yeah. Sagittarius season is going to be, I hope, really, really good. That's what it's looking like. Really, really good. Even a little bit of stuff going on, some good stuff going on with Capricorn. Y'all leave Capricorn alone. Capricorn's good energy. All right. So I hope that this is helpful to you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, please be looking for something that I plan on doing to kind of help people get ready to maximize 2020, which is a turning point year. This year was the beginning. Next year is like on and popping. And I just want all of us to be in the number where we're like, I got everything I wanted. If you need a reading from me, please don't hesitate to contact me at my website, goddessbodymindspirit.com. You can go to the services page and you can also just go to that main page and get to my Inner Circle membership site. It's housed on Patreon, but just go to my website. You can find it there, goddessbodymindspirit.com. Please like the video. Please share the video. Let me know your thoughts. How are you doing? I will say, in me saying, you know what, the stomach ache is emotional. And admitting that I actually do struggle still. I hate admitting this at my age. I hate being this way at my age. That there are times when I still do struggle with self-worth and self-value. As soon as I admitted that, and just watch the video. I haven't even done the candle ritual today, which I will be doing that candle ritual. I started feeling tons better. I would say right now, my stomach is just like 5% queasy compared to 100% queasy earlier. So, y'all get on these spiritual practices. Add spiritual practices. If the ones you're doing are sustaining you but not moving you forward, you might need to add a new one or two, or do some concentrated work at different lunar cycles, or however you come up with your cycles. All right. So let's get on it. We will not be denied. This is Tyra Omilade. Love y'all. Peace.